Hey, welcome everybody to Spirituality Adventures. We're glad you're tuning into this episode. We are a viewer and listener supported podcast, so we really appreciate you listening, watching on YouTube. We really encourage you to subscribe to whatever platform you're using. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, or if you're on Apple or however you listen to a podcast, be sure and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. Also, make comments if you like it and share it if you like it. We really need people to make comments and share the episodes that you like. And then also, if you're not already a supporter, we really would encourage you to go to spiritualityadventures.com and you can pick a tier, and we have bonus content for every type of giver. This is a nonprofit, so they're tax-deductible donations, but we do provide bonus content for those who are supporters. So be a part of the team, help support Spirituality Adventures, and we're so glad you're tuning in. All right, welcome everybody to Spirituality Adventures. Glad you're joining in on this episode. I'm excited to introduce you, if you don't know her already, Maggie Boone. She is a singer-songwriter from Olathe, Kansas, and I always try to keep an eye on our independent artists here in Kansas City, and I noticed your feeds, and I started kind of following you and all that kind of stuff, and I thought, well, I'm going to reach out and see if she'll do a podcast with me. So I love your stuff.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I always like to start out with just, kind of like where you grew up and kind of your family background and just anything of interest in your growing up years, where you grew up and family and all that.
Whew. Yeah, I grew up in Olathe, Kansas. My parents both owned a bar. It was called Pickering's Pub. And I went to Prince of Peace Elementary School in Olathe. And so, I grew up very much in the service industry world. A lot of my mom did a lot of catering jobs, and so a lot of events, and then I went to St. Thomas Aquinas High School, did a lot of theater, choir,
Yeah. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a little sister named Emily.
Okay.
And she's 2 years younger than me, and she lives over in Overland Park right now.
Okay.
Living her best life. And she went to KU. I went to Benedictine. So, yeah, that was kind of our growing up. We have a huge extended family, too. 40 cousins per side, I feel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they all in the Midwest or around Kansas City?
A lot of them are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of fun.
So we grew up with a huge family, around a ton of people from the bar and and everything.
What kind of, tell me about that. How old were you when you can remember going to the bar?
Oh, there's I went
and my
whole life.
Was it a food and bar, or was it just?
It was a family grill. Okay. Well, okay, it was a bar, but it was, they were a really good restaurant. And so I think they sold food until 10 o'clock, and then it would turn mostly into a bar. My parents mostly would take us there in the daytime if they had to open and had to get everything ready, the paperwork and stuff. And then, we were brought in, throughout most of our lives. They would shut down parts of the bar because that was before the smoking ban. So there would be a big sign up there that was you cannot smoke on this level. There's a baby up here. But that was mostly just to drop in and introduce us to some of their friends and stuff. And then we would help with they had chili cook-offs. And so we would help sell raffle tickets. We're really good at, please buy a raffle ticket. Supports whatever cause we were Knights of Columbus mostly, and Catholic Charities. So yeah,
good stuff. How about you said also that your folks barbecued. We did for those who support Spirituality Adventures, we do a bonus question round, and we did that right before this interview. But you mentioned that your parents were pretty good at barbecuing, right?
Yep.
Did you?
So my mom and dad were grand champion barbecuers. Growing up, and so throughout the summer and the fall seasons, we would go to. I feel like there were 5 competitions, 5 to 7, as we were growing up each summer. And I told you my mom qualified for the Jack Daniel's World Championship competition. And so when I was 6 months old, she brought me there. And so, but yeah, they're pretty good. They own Spice Bandit now, which is like a food truck and sauce and rubs company. So.
Spice Bandit. Barbecue food truck.
Yes.
All right. Check it out.
Yeah.
All right. So then how about music? Are you from a musical family? How did you get involved in music?
So I grew up around, my parents are big supporters of live music. So, I mean, especially like growing up with that open-mindedness of both my mom and my dad were very much like, oh yeah, let's go see this band perform. Let's go see a musical. Let's go to the symphony. Like, they tried to expose us to a lot of music culture. And then they also had a lot of bands performing at their bars.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
So they would just have local bands roll through, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always wanted to do that. I was like, that was my dream for so long. I was like, I just want to perform at a bar. It just sounded so cool. And then I did it. And and it was fun.
Yeah. So neither one of your parents plays music? Or
They don't, but my dad sings. He sang a lot when we were growing up. He's not like a professional singer. And I swear, I thought when I was younger he could play guitar, but I think he just had the guitar and tried to play the guitar.
Okay.
But yeah, my dad was always a pretty good singer. And then my grandma, she was a singer too. But she was mostly like in church choirs. And so I grew up around a little bit of music, but a lot of like music culture. Yeah.
So when you were growing up, your parents took you to a lot of live music, which is cool. How about what were they listening to at home? Do you remember what you were listening to growing up?
I know for a fact someone listened to Hotel California, because every time a band would come in, I'd ask them if they could play Hotel California. They're like, "You're 6 years old. How do you know Hotel California?" But I know my dad listened to a lot of like Matchbox 20, the Eagles, Journey, Billy Joel. I grew into Fleetwood Mac as I was growing up, but I don't know if they really listened to a lot of Fleetwood Mac. And then like Shania Twain, Martina McBride.
Okay.
Oh, and Brad Paisley. Yeah.
There you go.
Can't forget that.
So as you moved into your teen years and started listening to your own music, what were you into? What kind of musical styles?
I went through an emo phase in like 8th grade.
Tell me some of the bands that you were into.
I loved like My Chemical Romance.
Okay, I like them too.
Yes, I still love. Yeah,
What's the them. Black Parade? Is that that song?
So epic.
It's so fascinating to listen to that song, and lyrically, it's so amazing. Yeah,
I shifted into definitely like this emo phase, but it was combined with a hard hit of music theater. So it was kind of an interesting combination where I was like, I love Wicked, but also I'm listening to like Paramore, My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, Avril Lavigne. And then I kind of shifted.
I like those bands.
Yeah, I still love them. Like people will tell me like, oh, the theme tonight's emo night. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. But then I really also kind of shifted into like a lot of musical theater. And then I'm trying to think and then I did like a heavy shift into kind of Need to Breathe, and more like acoustic style stuff. So yeah, and now I listen to everything now. So I love Nicki Minaj, still love Jimmy Buffett from when I was younger. So yeah, I just have a huge combination of music that I like to listen to.
Okay. And when did you start playing or singing? How old were you? Do you remember?
I started taking piano lessons in 2nd grade, and then it was a lot of classical piano. And then in high school, I figured out that I could write songs, as in someone else wrote a song, and I'm like, wait a minute, like normal people can write songs? I always thought songwriters are like a separate type of person. But I'd always loved writing poetry. And so I was like, how do you write songs? Like, how did these chords work? And so I kind of learned how to play piano chords in high school, like the pop style, playing. And then, and how to like put lyrics to stuff. And so that's kind of how everything started. Yeah.
So in your early teens, is that? Or
Yeah,
later?
I think I wrote my first song when I was like 15.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'd written, but my mom taught us how to do everything through song, even though she's not a singer. So like we grew up learning how to spell our names through, songs, and then our address through song and our phone number. So I feel like I did a lot of singing, like growing up.
Does your sister sing or do music?
Yeah, she definitely did a lot of like choir in high school. And she has a really pretty voice. She doesn't sing like publicly. I mean, I'm waiting for the day that we get her back up there. But yeah, she did. So.
Sweet. So, as you were playing music and stuff like that, when did you do your first like solo? Because you do. Are you always traveling with a band when you gig, or are you mostly solo with your keyboard?
It's a combination. So I did a lot of work with Howl at the Moon, which is like a dueling piano company, and I work with their event teams too. Okay. And so
Howl at the Moon, they're a local company? I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're a dueling piano bar in Power and Light. Okay. And so I was working with them for like a year and a half in the club, and then I decided this year to start doing my own independent singer-songwriter. Like I really needed a more flexible schedule. And so I fill in at the club sometimes, but now it's mostly like solo shows, and then a couple, they're called How to Go shows, so like private events. Okay. And then I just joined a band. Oh. It hasn't been announced yet officially. So the name cannot be revealed yet, but yeah, we're working on a lot of cool stuff, with some local artists. I think there's like 4 other guys in the group. So me and a lot of really cool musicians. And so. Excellent. Yep. We're excited to launch that.
Very cool. Very cool. Man. Well, we've had bands in here before.
Oh, cool.
Might have to bring you back.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so how old were you when you did like your first solo gig, or out, not at school, not at theater, but like outside? Like, yeah. Like at a bar or anything like that. Was that your parents' bar? Did they have you playing young, or?
So it wouldn't have been a gig. It would have been more of like another band was playing and I jumped up and sang with them. So I think I was probably like, the first time I jumped up and sang with a band was probably like 15 or 16. Mm-hmm. And then as far as like solo shows where I got paid for it, I was probably like 22 or 23, because I taught for a few years before I became like a full-time, musician. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're always a musician, but so yeah, I think I was probably 23 when I got my first gig.
All right, so out of college. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you were at Benedictine, what did you major in?
I majored in I majored in music, and then I had a concentration in music composition. And then I also got a music education license. Okay. So I kind of jumped around on my degree. but all in the music field. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, cool. And yeah. I also did like concerts in college. So I guess I did perform in college. It just wasn't like at a bar. Because we didn't really have very many bars to choose from. There were like 2 bars in all of Atchison. So, yeah.
The thriving Atchison, Kansas. Yeah, I occasionally do a long bike ride. And I will go from where we're at right now and ride all the way to Weston, and then ride the Missouri River bottom all the way from Weston all the way up to the bridge that you cut across to get over to Atchison. Oh. And then swing through Atchison and then come on back south on the other side of the bridge on gravel roads. These are all gravel roads for the most part. Yeah. Come all the way down and back around and then back into Missouri.
That's such a far bike ride.
It's a good long day, Yeah. Yeah.
Like, man, that's a long drive for me.
Yeah, so that's about my only. I've been up to Atchison a few times at some of the stuff. I've been on the campus there as well. It's a pretty campus.
I like
pretty cool stuff. Yeah, so let's talk about, you released a new EP this year.
Yes.
How long ago was that it come out?
It came out in July.
Okay, wow. So that's really new.
Yep.
And you've got 6 songs on it. And it's titled Delaware Street.
Yes.
Okay. So where is Delaware Street?
Delaware Street is a street in the River Market.
Oh, okay. I'm aware of that one, yeah.
And I wrote the song Delaware Street after an old coffee shop bookstore bar called Our Daily Nada. And it was inspired by, like, I used to go there every Tuesday. And I met a bunch of, like, artists and musicians and poets there. And it was when I was pretty new to living in the city part of Kansas City. And so that's where I made a lot of my friends. And I rediscovered that I really love writing and I love poetry and I love accessing that creative part of myself, like creative writing. And so, that's, and then that store closed right before COVID. And so, yeah, that's kind of what inspired the song though, and the title of the album, of the EP.
Yeah, and as I was listening to it, I was thinking about, sort of this, if we use some old terms, like, you had the bourgeois class, which was kind of like the middle class, very conventional, follow the rule kind of people. And then you had your bohemian crowd, which was your free-spirited, outside the box, no rules, artistic, poetic music, And so that song kind of dialed up that whole thing. And what's weird, like, I don't sing or write or anything. I'm writing a memoir right now.
Oh, cool.
But I've never written poetry. I've never done like fiction kind of stuff. But I love music, I love art, and I actually love poetry. So I have this weird thing where I don't feel like I'm like super artistic, but there's another side of me that think, well, maybe I am, the way I put together a message or a talk or, do a presentation of some sort as a speaker. There's a creative element to that. And I remember reading a book called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. It's just a little teeny book. And then I read another thing called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And they both like to help everybody view themselves as artists. And it really did open up like, oh, well, heck, I don't have to write a song or a poem to be an art, or paint something to be an artist. There's other ways to express artistry, I guess. So I've always like felt like I wanted to hang out with the bohemian crowd.
Well, you should try like Writers Workshop KC. That's the group that was in at the Daily Nada, and it's run by this really amazing poet, Jen Harris, and her whole thing is like letting go of your internal censor, like just writing and seeing what happens. And it's very like open to everyone and open to...
I'd love to try. I need to try to check that out. So really I journal every morning, and I do, with a pen. I do an ink pen and paper, because I don't know, something about the texture and the feel of it, and I have purple ink, and
So you're a writer.
Well, I am. I don't know how to, I'm experimenting in this part of my life for sure. But I'd love to check that out. So do you have poets that you have that are your favorite poets that you like to, like, do you read poetry or do you just write it mostly?
I write a lot of poetry, and I love reading reading lyrics as though they are poems, because I kind of study other artists' lyrics. And so like one band that I feel like they hit TikTok and super trended, but like Fleetwood Mac, I mean, they were already very famous, obviously, but like I love reading through their lyrics because the poetry in them, it's amazing. And then I talk about this next one a lot, but like Taylor Swift, I really like Taylor Swift's storytelling ability. Some of her songs are more like, I don't know, pop, you know? But then when you get into some of her like deeper songs, they're just very well crafted, and they tell such a beautiful story. And so I love reading through, like my favorite songwriters and just figuring out like, how did they do this? Like what words did they eliminate? What did they keep? How do they tell their story? And so I started studying a lot more of that in the last few years. And then I love like Maya Angelou, you know.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
I like Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
Too. She's awesome.
And I love the Kansas City poets, like the people from the Writers Workshop, Casey. They'll write and then they'll just like share the things they came up with.
I need to get to know them. I need to have maybe have her on. What's the gal's name?
Jen Harris.
I might need to get her on here.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
She's a really cool slam poet.
What is the difference between like because I've always, I'm a huge music person and I love every kind of music as well. I mean, I love jazz, I love rap, I love alternative. Probably alternatives where I listen mostly, you know, like Alt Nation, kind of, I have that on my car, you know, and I'm drawn to lyrics first more than I am, but I have to love the music. But like I have my favorite, you know, musicians that I think are like poets, and I know my friends that write rap kind of think of it like poetry a little bit too. So I've never done either one, so I'm kind of curious, like, is there a difference between writing poetry and writing a song that's poetic? And if there is a difference, what is the difference?
Well, it really depends on what you're writing for. Like if you're trying to write a pop song, I feel like you can write a poem or a story, you know, and then you come up with whatever your refrain is or your chorus, you know, and then you repeat that. And so I think the biggest thing that makes like a song different than a poem in that sense is there's a lot more repetition in a song. So the structure itself, if you want to write like a choral piece of music, you can go through poetry, or you can go through like, you know, biblical verses, and you can find beautiful text and you can set that to music. But also like my Nana writes a lot of poetry. And so like I've gone through her stuff before to try to figure out, can I make this into a choral piece, or can I make this into a song? But when I write my songs, I'll record them into my voice memos and I sing it with the lyrics. And then I go through and I structure it like a poem. And then I'll figure out what to repeat for the chorus a lot of times. So it just depends on your songwriting style and method. Yeah.
Are there others other than Taylor Swift that you look at and like you like the way they craft their songs into poetry? Is there?
Yeah. So like lately, I've really been into Noah Kahan, but also like, which I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I've only read it. So I used to love Need to Breathe and their lyrics. Journey does a beautiful job songwriting and storytelling, especially with Faithfully, one of their songs, inspired one of my songs, and so, which was Music Man. And so I like to take other songs and just be like, what story does this tell? And then what's my response to that? And so, but the big one this year specifically was definitely like Fleetwood Mac and their music for me. And like Stevie Nicks and,
They've got some great lyrics. Great lyrics, definitely. Yeah, so I love Delaware Street because it gave me that that longing for the bohemian crowd and, you know, hanging out with that. So then I go to Watch Me Fall.
Yeah.
And it sounded kind of like, and you've got a few songs in there that kind of were on the breakup side of things a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So Watch Me Fall, was there a particular story that you had in mind, a particular relationship, or was it more generic?
Yeah. Well, that song, I wrote that after a breakup, and but it was like one of the bigger breakups, like you were talking about engagement type of a breakup, or you know, like, so it was a pretty serious relationship, and I was just like so sad and so broken, and I didn't know what to do. And so that's how the opening lyrics, like, no, I don't know what to do. Because you plan your whole life with someone, like you're ready to jump and like be with them, and then that ends. Mm-hmm. So that was what that song was about. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was sad. But a lot of people liked it, which is good. But it was sad.
That's amazing. So I have this thing where, like, if I'm in a dark place, sometimes a happy song doesn't help me get out of a dark place. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm unusual, but sometimes when I'm in a dark place, I need a dark song. Yeah. But then that dark song helps me get out of the dark place. Yeah. I don't know.
Cathartic,
yeah,
you know.
It's like, so, oh, well, I'm not alone. Or maybe that's what it is. It's just the idea is like, oh gosh, there's other people who have experienced this, know this, they've written about it, and it comforts me to know I'm not alone in it, you know, that kind of a thing. What about Little Old Cab? Cab. What is that one about? I was listening to it and I was going, I'm curious now. I don't think I figured it out.
So that's probably because that song was originally like 6 minutes long and I had to cut it a lot. Mm-hmm. But there'll be one day like a 6-minute version. Right. But so that's a song I wrote in college, and there were a few big things going on. I had to do an extra semester. Well, I chose to do an extra semester of student teaching so I could get my education license. Mm-hmm. And a lot of my friends graduated. And so I was in Atchison, which is like such a small town, but I was like, most of my friends were gone. I had a few still there that were like in the grade below me. But I was really, I think it was like right before this, it's like I knew people were leaving, and it was my senior year, and I was so like tired and burnt out, and I was really struggling with like mental health. And so the verses of that are about letting go of a friend who was, you know, leaving. And I wasn't sure when I would see them again. But that's okay, because like I love them so much. I knew that like one day we would find each other again. Like that's how friendship works, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And so those are what a lot of the verses are about. And then it kind of turned into me writing like a song to them, like, I'm struggling, I'm really burnt out. I've just been singing nonstop. Like, I've been performing, I've been working, I've been composing for like an academic goal, which I feel like can really burn you out quickly. And so that's kind of what that song was about, which made it a little depressing. But I kind of want to rewrite it, because I feel like there's some parts of it that I want to explain better. Because I'll go to perform it and I'm like, this perfectly captures this part of my life, but I kind of want to like expand it into something new. So that's kind of that song. Yeah.
So check out her EP, Delaware Street.
Yes.
You can check it out on Spotify or Apple or any of the musical platforms, probably Bandcamp, I guess.
I don't know if I'm on Bandcamp yet. I know I'm on, Spotify, YouTube, Apple. There's the new one that I can't ever think of. It's a privately owned one. I don't know what it's called. Okay. But yeah, I'm on a lot of things.
I don't know what that one is either. So I'm just kind of going through your songs here. What about Music Man? You said that the old Journey song, Faithfully, inspired Music Man? That's interesting.
Yeah, so especially since Music Man kind of took a country turn.
Yeah.
But
it's the only country one on here.
Yes.
And who was the guy that you did it with?
Drew Ballantyne. And he is a Kansas City performer as well. Super cool guy. Great guitar player, great singer.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Have we tried to reach out to him, Matt?
I don't think so.
You haven't heard of him? Who was the guy that we tried to reach out to that was a cousin of one of my friends? Do you remember that? That wasn't.
It could have been Drew because his cousin does do music stuff too.
Really?
Yeah.
So I might have been somebody I didn't mention to Matt. Anyway, okay, so yeah, he's a local country artist.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I walked into Guitar Center one day. I really needed someone to sing this duet with me, but I wrote the song originally for just a man to sing. It's the first song I ever wrote knowing I want someone else to sing it. And it was basically this idea of, with Faithfully, they're on tour, they miss their partner, but they're still like faithful to them. I kind of took it that idea and made it like, I went on tour, but I realized that I left you behind and I came back. And so that was kind of like my response to this. Like, okay, what if it was a slightly different story?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I incorporated little hints to Faithfully in it, but the country did throw it off a little bit.
Right, yeah.
That's okay though.
Hard to love a music man because of the travel, the road, the tours, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay. So then your next one is So Far Away. That seemed to be another one of the breakup kind of feel to it. Is that one, or just a distant relationship? That
one I actually wrote right before I got married, and it was about. It's about the idea of like you can be in a relationship with someone for so long that you kind of forget like who you are and who the other person is. And so you can feel like you're so far away, even if you're really close. And it's important to like let that other person grow. And sometimes you have to let them go and let them like grow on their own. And then like, hopefully you like still love each other. Hopefully you stay together, you know. But you can feel distant even when you're like together. And so you have to come back and like talk about it and give each other space. So yeah. That was
that's
one.
Good.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very true. And then the last song on the EP is called One Day. Play Down the Rabbit Hole One Day.
Yes.
So it seemed almost like a dream type of a song. Like
it's so that one
an idyllic place that you dream about, long for.
Yeah, kind of like Wonderland.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I was getting from it, like this ideal place.
And that big one kind of ties into where I've been going lately with my music, because this is the most recent one I've written, is One Day. And it's like, life is crazy, you're living, you're loving, and like time is just passing, and we don't really know what we're doing, but like we're all gonna be in this like wonderful place one day. And so it's very like hopeful, I think. And I wanted to kind of I wanted to sing a song that involved a couple of like la-da-da-da-da, like that lighter lilty feeling. And so I incorporated some of that in there, and sometimes you don't need words to describe an emotion, you can just sing. And so yeah, that's that.
Yeah, well, it definitely elicited from me that longing for it's kind of a beautiful, ideal sort of place. And yeah, it's good. Deep, deep longings for peace and joy and happiness and those kind of things. Good stuff. Well,
thank you. Thanks for listening to it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. So what's on the horizon for you? What do you see happening in the next year or two?
So
you already mentioned that you're just in a new band, and we're not going to say the name, but we'll wait for that to come out. So that's obviously one of the things.
I'm excited for that for sure. And then I wrote a new song. I kind of performed it at my EP release just to get a little, teaser out there. But it's called Storybook, and that's the one I want to release next. And so it's very storyteller. It's not necessarily about a specific breakup or anything, it's just I had a story that I wanted to share about these characters. And so that's kind of my new direction. It's like indie pop, a little indie punk. Once we add some guitars, when it's on a piano, it's pretty pop. But and then I want to keep making music. I want to lean into some folk. I want to learn more about folk music and maybe grasp on to my Celtic heritage, and because I really love Irish music, and so I kind of want to lean into that more and just
Is Boone your maiden name or your married name?
Boone's my maiden name.
Okay.
And then Schmalz is my married name, but it's kind of hard to spell, so I kept it Boone. Okay. For the sake of performing.
And your family, the Boone family, goes back to Ireland?
So we're also Sweeney and Vanderhoof. Wait.
Okay.
I think, yeah. I don't know. I get a little confused. And then Mossberg and then Pickering. So we're very Irish, English, German, Dutch. Okay. And so kind of a mix of things. But I'm pretty sure I'm a quarter Irish. And then, or a little more. Yeah. It just kind of blends in together. But...
Have you been to Ireland?
Not yet, but I really want to go.
My last name's Heron, Heron, and we've been told that we haven't done a great family history on the Heron side, but because my mom's side almost all goes back to England. But I think the R Herons used to be O'Herons, and I think there's a county in Ireland that's O'Heron. People, because I was there in 2018 with two of my three sisters, and we flew into Dublin and then spent almost all our time in Northern Ireland. Okay. And what's so fun, they're some of the nicest people I've ever, it's like you never meet a stranger. And it reminded me, my dad's an extrovert. He never meets a stranger. Anywhere he goes, if he's in a waiting room, he'll start talking to the people around him and get to know them and try to figure out who they know that he knows, and he'll play this 6 degree of separation game. And me and my two sisters were in Northern Ireland, and everywhere we went, people would talk to us, and it was like these people are like my dad. Yeah. They're all outgoing. They were all kind. They would all engage in these conversations, and it was really fun. And then I had broken my normal glasses, and I had to wear my cycling glasses, and I had a different haircut, and everybody thought I looked like Bono, which was amazing to go to Ireland, where Bono's from, and every day people wanted to get their picture taken with me because they thought I looked like Bono.
That's so funny.
And I mean, even young girls, it was just hilarious, every day. And we would go into restaurants. And I mean, one restaurant, you had to get 2 months ahead of time reservations. We didn't know that. We show up. They go, "Hey, Bono's been here," and they found us a table because I looked like Bono.
Did you ever tell them that you weren't Bono, or were you just?
Well, they knew I wasn't.
Okay.
But I mean, we're close to the same age. But no, it was just hilarious. Every single day, and. Anyway, but I'd encourage you to go. It was really a great experience, and there's a lot of great musicians from Ireland, right? Such a musical island.
Yes.
Poetry and music, and so beautiful. Well, so looking into the future, you're going to be doing some more solo songwriting, but you're also going to be doing some writing with the new band. And do you have a schedule that's posted? How would people find out about your upcoming concerts and gigs and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I post most of my stuff on my Instagram and my Facebook, which is Miss Maggie Moon. like moon is in the sky. So yeah, most of my things.
This is Maggie Boone, but find her at Miss Maggie Moon.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is kind of like my stage name, especially as we get into spooky Halloween season, and I like to kind of shift into that. But yeah, so I post on Instagram, Facebook, and then I have a website, maggieboone.com.
Okay.
So Boone with the B. And then, and yeah, I mostly post all my updates there, especially since sometimes I'll get an offer like the week of, and I'll be like, oh, here's a new show. So I try to keep my social media really updated.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So tune in to Miss Maggie Moon, Instagram, Facebook.
Yes.
And then you have a website that's Maggie Boone, BOONE.com. Okay. All right. Well, check out the new EP, Delaware Street. Thanks for sharing some of your story with us.
Yeah,
and we're
you.
gonna try to shift into a couple of your musical songs now.
Okay.
All right.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks for
you
having
bet.
me.
Great. All right.
Hi, my name is Maggie Boone, and this is One Day. Baby, life keeps changing, it feels so strange, don't it? Time flies by and I still don't know who I'm supposed to be. But I like you here with me. Movie stars drive their fancy cars past us, walk of fame, glowing tales, love's history, and you're with me. Supposed to be. 1, 2, 3, 4. No one knows for sure where they're going, and they chase after time like it's running away, so they can say they lived their life one day. All I'm asking is for your heartbeat to match with mine in every single way, and we will play down the rabbit hole one day. Da 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 da. We move forward, the air grows thicker. You and I spin around in clumsy circles, that's to be. Just stay wild here with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. No one knows for sure where they're going, and they chase after time like it's running away, so they can say they lived their life one day. All I'm asking is for your heartbeat to match with mine in every single way, and we will play down the rabbit hole one day. Da-da-dee-da-dee-da-da-da-da-da-da. All I'm asking is for your heartbeat to match with mine in every single way, and we will play down the rabbit hole one day. Thank you.
Hey, you made it to the end. Thanks for listening all the way through on this episode. By the way, if you're not already a supporter, go to spiritualityadventures.com, sign up for one of our monthly supports, and you will receive our bonus content. You'll receive lots of interesting information about our guests. Many of our musicians will do special bonus songs and record a song. So I want to encourage you to do that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Be sure and subscribe. Be sure and share any of the episodes that you like. And be sure and make comments if you like them as well. This helps us get Spirituality Adventures out there to more listeners, more watchers. So whatever platform you're using, subscribe, like, share, make comments, and go to our website, sign up for our team, and be a part of the team support. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.